Welcome back to Did They Game It? Today I'll be discussing Super Godzilla on the Super Nintendo, and this one's personal. I have owned this game since I was a kid, and just playing it really pissed me off and reminded me of that I've had this in my collection. This game, I don't know if kids still have this, but where you only get like one or two games a year for Christmas and your birthday. And yeah, when I played this one, I just thought about how I lost a birthday present on this. So I guess before we get into it, you can tell how I feel about it. And the worst part is, I loved Godzilla as a kid. I had the VHS ones where you like put them together and it makes Godzilla's face and a little bit of the city that he's destroying. Tokyo. It's almost always Tokyo that he's destroying. But yeah, I had that. I had little action figures and then got the Super Nintendo game from Kmart. And it was not fun, and it was nothing like the box described. I'm going to read the box. Finally, history's most powerful monster, Godzilla, has arrived on Super NES, complete with a powerful animation battle system. It did not have a powerful animation battle system, it had a terrible battle system. I'll continue. In Super Godzilla, you operate Godzilla with all his huge power and ferocity, and enjoy powerful battles between monsters, complete with resounding battle cries. I guess you heard the battle cries. Not powerful battles. The game has two modes. No, it doesn't. In movement mode, you move Godzilla through cities, destroying cities and crushing mountains. In battle mode, you fight dynamic one-on-one battles with enemy monsters. No, you go through the city to get to the monster. That's not two different modes. That's just playing the game. That's just called story mode. There is no battle mode. For a second when I read this, I thought maybe there was more to this game that I actually missed. There's not. I continue again. This game introduces a new type of battle system. I will give them that. It definitely had a different battle system. You make Godzilla attack while you watch the level of his fighting spirit and that of his enemy. Yeah, which I guess you do that. Uh, when Godzilla unleashes one of his major techniques, such as fire breath, which barely happens, the screen switches to a powerful animation. It switched to an animation. Wouldn't say it was powerful, but yeah, it switched to an animation, so they're not lying there. This is just as exciting as watching a movie. The fuck it is. No, it's not. It's, so when I was playing this, I always try to beat these games. This one, I got to the end, I was on my last life, and I barely had any, I don't know, fighting spirit left or whatever the hell they wrote on the back of this box. And I already said in my head, if I die here, I'm not playing it again. I guess I'll just lose. I'm not fucking playing it again. This one's gonna have a lot of cussing. This one, I mean, I swear it took me back to being like 10. I think I was 10 when I got this, maybe younger, but I don't know. It's just not a good game. And I also, there's a whole lot of levels to this one. I mean, betrayal. I betrayed a friend over this game. Denial. Probably denial because I acted like it was a good game. It's just such a waste of time. So basically, all you do is watch a little dot on the bottom of the screen go through the city, and there's little things that represent buildings and nuclear power plants where you regain Godzilla's health, and you just walk through, and all you see on the top half of the screen is an animation of Godzilla moving up and down. And then if you run through a building, it shows him hit into the building and it crumbles. Then when you go to the nuclear power plant, you just see him kind of start glowing blue and his health goes up. And then you keep moving and you keep doing that and you're on a timer, and it's so slow because all you do is change him in different directions. And if you go into the water, it takes even twice as long. And then if you go into the deeper water, you're like 3 times as long to just move through the city. And then you get to the enemy, and then you don't actually fight. Because I thought when I was a kid, you would just use them to fight, like kind of a Mortal Kombat thing or something like that. No, What you do is you walk up to him, you punch him, and then you back up really quick, and there's this little card on the bottom where it's like a door that keeps opening on it, and you see different move comes up, like use his tail, use his fire breath, use super fire breath, like just headbutt him or ram into him, and you watch that, and then you press a button, and then an animation comes up of him shooting fire or whatever, but that's it. And then some of the enemies are so fast while you're trying to back up because you can't use everything on them. Some of them, they can dodge your fire breath, they can dodge certain moves or use them against you. So you have to keep moving back until this card hits a move that you can use. Some of the enemies you can use any move on, and that's whatever. But the fact is, you get hit, and then all of a sudden that enemy does a move on you, and you just have to wait and watch the animation. And the animations take forever, and it's just the fact that it's this game is maybe an hour and a half, and I think it took me about 5 hours because I just kept getting up to like look out the window, go hug my loved ones because I was just losing time on this. Like, I don't know, I was not playing this again. I don't know why I did this to myself. I guess at some point maybe I just want to see if I still have the same patience that I did as a child. And I guess I did because I beat it, but I only did 2 attempts. The first time I tried to beat it, I got half I didn't get halfway through. I think I got to the second level and then just said, I don't feel like doing this tonight and shut it off. And then the next day I did it and I beat it. It's not really that hard of a game. It's just a waste of time. It's functional. Like, you can definitely play it. I mean, there's, other than the whole style itself, there's really not much, I don't know, problems with it. It just sucks. And there's only 6 enemies that you fight. Let's see, let me pull out my notebook here. The first one you fight is Ghidorah. That's the 3-headed monster that shoots lightning. That was always my favorite one too as a kid when I'd watch the movies. He's got like a dozen different names in the movies. Then Mecha Godzilla, also a fan favorite. Biollante, Batra, which that's just a bat. It's like Mothra, but a bat. Mecha King Ghidorah, basically Mecha Godzilla. And then a new villain called Bagan. And I guess that's a mix of Godzilla and Ghidorah. So basically the storyline of this game is Godzilla fashion, aliens show up and start controlling monsters to attack the city. So the good guys use Godzilla to attack the monsters to get rid of the aliens. Yeah, you become Super Godzilla at a point to defeat the Mecha King Ghidorah, which that was the 5th one. That was the 5th enemy to fight, and it seemed like it was one of the easier ones for me to get through. And then the Bagan one, here's my tip. If anybody wants to play this, so when you fight Bagan, when you first show up to fight him, just like move to the very back of the screen and don't do anything. And I forgot about this because I hadn't played it in like 20 something years, that I just sit there and basically kind of like guard yourself and wait, because then like a ship comes by and gives you the power to be Super Godzilla, then you can actually fight him. So that's a tip that I wish they would have kind of gave you a heads up on or said something. Maybe I missed it. I didn't see anything on there. It's man, just I'm just looking at the box and I'm just thinking about how I was so misled. I'm trying to remember what other games I could have got instead of getting this. To say that there's 2 different modes, I don't know why. This is the first time I've read the back of the box since I was a kid. That's just so upsetting and misleading. Yeah, they really tried to hype this one up. And I just wanted a good Godzilla. I feel like Godzilla would be so easy to make good games of. And I love these movies. Not the Matthew Broderick one, not the 99, I think was when that one came out. Which that one I had t-shirts of that movie. And I remember that the first day of school, I went in with my new fresh Godzilla shirt, and then like one of the most unpopular kids in class was wearing the same exact shirt, and people were kind of like making fun of me for it and picking on me. And the funny part was one of the main kids who was like giving me shit over it also liked Godzilla. He came the next day with a different Godzilla shirt from that movie, and the same kid that they had like made fun of yesterday for us wearing the same shirt, he came to school wearing the same Godzilla shirt as him. So then everybody gave him shit for the rest of the day. And this is the same friend I ended up screwing over with this game. Not purposely, but he knew I had bought this game and we were talking about it, and he asked if it was fun, and I didn't want to admit that it sucked. So I was saying like, "Oh, yeah, no, like I just started playing it, but it's pretty good so far. Yeah, I really like it." And yeah, no, I'm glad I got it. And I was just, I don't know, maybe I was in denial. Yeah, I don't really do that much unless other traumatic memories pop up that I blocked out. I don't know, I just went into denial about this one. And then I didn't know this, but he had his parents buy that game for him, and then he came to school and basically said, "What the hell? This game sucks, dude. This game isn't fun." And then I just told him, "Yeah, I know. I didn't think anybody was gonna buy it." I just felt ashamed that I lost my birthday present to this. Like that was basically it. I mean, I only got one or two games a year, and it got wasted on Super Godzilla. So of course I beat it. I think I beat it quite a few times, several times, because I think it only took me 2 days to beat it when I was a kid. I don't even know if it took that. And then, yeah, I just probably played it dozens of times. And it sucks. It's like my worst memory of Godzilla too, because I used to watch those movies all the time when I was a kid. Like I remember if I had any days off or anything like that, sometimes my mom would take me to like Carl's Jr. or something like that. I get one of those little cakes, little chocolate cakes, and then I would just come up to my room and have a little table and watch Godzilla. And those are peak memories. And then there's this. I mean, I guess at least it makes me think of good times. But oh, I hate this game. I think this is the most I've been duped by a game, adult or child. Although the memory of everybody picking on the kid that wore the Godzilla shirt probably isn't a great memory to bring up. He was the type of kid that, people would pick on during the popcorn reading because he had like a lisp and had a hard time reading. And yeah, so basically if you wore the same shirt as that kid, you're getting made fun of. Yeah, I know, that's the popcorn reading thing, that's not funny anymore. I can't get away with that. Also, I heard that one time he was at a sleepover with a bunch of kids, which I didn't. So before I keep harping on making fun of a child, I didn't get invited to sleepovers and stuff. I wasn't super popular, so I guess we can talk about each other if that makes sense. Like kids who are all picked on or weren't popular can all talk about each other and bad stories. But anyway, I heard he was at a sleepover and they were playing like Monopoly or something, and his balls like rolled out onto the board during the sleepover because he had boxers on, and I guess they just bunched up and his balls came out. And that didn't occur on like a secret island or anything with billionaires. That was just a bunch of kids. I think we're all in like 5th grade. I wasn't there. Just so anybody who hears this, that's when that happened a long time ago in a regular town, not on an island filled with billionaires, nothing weird like that. So, I mean, they did not game Godzilla. This isn't even close other than it having the characters and aliens coming to Earth and screwing things up. That's Yeah, that's about it. But this could have been anything really. You could have put a skin on any of it. And the bummer part of it too is that for the movies, they definitely don't hold up when you're an adult. I mean, because I always watch the ones from like the 60s and the 70s, so those really don't hold up. I think my favorite one when I was a kid was probably like Monster Zero, and that's like Ghidorah, and you go fight Ghidorah on the moon, I think. And then Son of Godzilla was just silly. But yeah, no, I used to like those a lot. It's kind of a bummer when you find things that you try to go and look back on and realize that like, these just kind of suck. Like you just kind of grown past it. There's nothing really there. I mean, I still have fun watching the monster fights. Even though, I mean, even when I was a kid, I knew it was just like guys in suits, but it was still enjoyable. I don't know. I still enjoy that. I guess the weird part is why was there always like psychics? that had like connections with the monsters and stuff. I don't know why that was such a trend. And not just in those movies, like in a lot of movies, like even Friday the 13th had that, where they would just have psychic connections or psychic powers for some reason. Was that like was that a fad for a while? I don't know. Maybe by the time I was a kid, they had just moved on past psychics. I still like my Godzilla toys though. Because like the Godzilla toys, they were the Godzilla monsters from like the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I still enjoy those. I still find those around my mom's house sometimes, and I'll put them up in different spots. And now I've been looking on eBay for those too. So, and I've been trying to find a good Godzilla game to play. It's definitely not going to be. Yeah, that was another bummer too when I was a kid because that one with Matthew Broderick came out, and it just that irked me too. I don't know. You got really kicked around as a Godzilla fan in the late 90s. Like when you thought he was making a resurgence, they just came out with a bunch of crap and like killed it again. And then I don't know, the 2014 one, that wasn't bad. I actually didn't mind that. I haven't seen it since it came out, so maybe it wasn't that good. Because I don't really remember. Like I think I've seen almost all of the new ones that came out, like with Godzilla versus King Kong and stuff. And I don't really. They all just kind of blend together. Or maybe it's not the quality of the film. Maybe it's just because that's what Godzilla is to me now. Like there's nothing really there to make it stick out in my head or separate it. I don't know. This kind of just become more of a bummer. Look at what this fucking game does. Like I came in here and I just wanted to play a Super Nintendo game from my childhood, and then now I'm just talking about things that are gone that you'll never get back. This game is cursed. There's just something wrong with it, or wrong with me. I don't know. There's something with this game that every time I play it or look at it, I start going in a weird direction. Ugh. I'm picking it up again and looking at it. I'll probably go find those old VHS. Oh, what a waste of time. Like, I mean, seriously, you could just. Gotta calm down, bring it back. No, but you could just put him in a direction towards a monster and then start looking at your phone and doing other stuff and just glance up and move him to the right or the left or back. And then in the middle of all that, every once in a while a little UFO will show up. And if you hit it once, move back and do the fire blast, that's it. They go down in one shot and then you keep going. So yeah. Anyway, you fight the six monsters. The last one, like I said, was Baggin. That's a Super Godzilla original. He never showed up in a movie. I don't know, maybe he was in a movie since then, but not not before Super Godzilla. And then after you defeat him, which is kind of a hard battle, that was the only thing that made me nervous. Not the fact that I was gonna lose. Because sometimes when you play games and you put in all that time, like you don't want to lose because you just want the accomplishment of beating it. I just didn't want to lose because I knew I would have to come on here and say that, yeah, I couldn't beat Super Godzilla. And not because it was hard, just because I'm not putting myself through that again. After you beat the final monster Baggin, the best part of this game was a line because it shows on the bottom the text from like the professor that's helping you and other people. And one of the texts reads, "The aliens who use monsters to destroy our city were shot down by the Super X." Like it show because it shows like one of the screens just ends with that they were shot. And then it disappears and the new one pops up and that's all it says. Down by the Super X. It reminds me of if people used to watch the old Simpsons, uh Homer Badman, when he was talking about he wants God to help him when he's accused of assault, and he gets a phone call from a reporter, and he goes, "Hello, Homer. This is God. Free Jones." Of that was basically what it was. The weird pause made me start laughing because I thought, "Oh, wow, that's kind of anticlimactic for the aliens. They were just shot. Why didn't you guys do that day one?" And then yeah, I guess they needed the Super X to shoot him down. So I guess they couldn't just hit him in the head with a gun. You know, maybe I don't know. I I guess I got through it, so maybe it isn't the worst game ever, but The fact that I didn't pay it. My parents paid full price for this back when it first came out. I think that's the part that gets with me the most. And who knows what other games are there that I could have got that would have changed my life. I probably could have got a really fun game. I don't know what was out when this came out. Anything would have been bad. I don't have to look it up. Anything. But I am gonna watch more of the old Godzilla movies though. Maybe that was another thing too. I had to play another game after this just to get away from this. I just put on Super Mario Brothers 3 instead. And then that kind of calmed me down. Yeah, there was no like accomplishment from this. Just blackness. But the main thing is too, I've been trying to play bad games because I feel like so far the games that I've played haven't been terrible. And I didn't want to go through all the good ones and then just be stuck with crap. But oh man, I bitched about this in my head for days. I don't know. I just gotta hide this one. Actually, no, the cover's cool. Maybe I'll display the cover. Maybe I just don't look at it directly. It's not the worst game. I wouldn't advise playing it. They didn't game it. Don't play it. The movies were definitely better. Um, yeah, it's just gonna get worse from here. I think because I'm just gonna start. Oh, I got another crappy one coming up that I don't even know how I'm gonna stretch that one out. You know, maybe I'm gonna try to find another Godzilla game to play. And the crappy thing is, I don't have anybody that I know or talk to anymore who was really into Godzilla. But if I find another Godzilla game to play, who knows? Maybe I'll contact the friend that I screwed over on this game. Oh man, that was I took no satisfaction in it, but it was the fact that misery loves company, and I feel like that's how I felt. Or it's like, but he didn't. I don't think he just got one or two games a year. He got more things than I did, so it didn't ruin his year as much as it ruined mine. I think, yeah, I should talk to him about it because I'm sure he still remembers it. I know it was brought up quite a few times because we were friends for years, and that one got brought up a lot. And that seems like throughout our friendship, that was the biggest betrayal. Not a terrible friendship then, if that's the worst thing your friend's done to you was, well, I don't know. If the worst thing your friend got you to do was to play Super Godzilla, maybe they're not a very good friend at all. I think they talked about that in the Dare program. Do they still do Dare? Is that still a thing? Are people going to know what I'm talking about? It doesn't matter. Alright, well, don't play this game. Watch some Godzilla movies. Try to find a different Godzilla game. Suggest one to me so I can feel better about myself. Oh, the music. The music wasn't terrible. I mean, you're going to hear it at the beginning of this and the end. In the very beginning, it does sound like farts. So that's a little funny. Or at least that's what it sounded like to me. But then at about the 15-second mark, it picks up and then it's not a bad song, a bad beat. And yeah, throughout the game, I don't know. I like the Godzilla music, so it didn't annoy me. But maybe if that kept repeating, it might annoy other people. Yeah, just don't do it. All right, until next time, thanks for listening.